And if I had to be another person to stand up, if I think, after really going through this, and looking at the files and looking at the case, if I really feel that Karen Reed didn't do this and I have to be a voice that stands up and helps, I will.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
We're the only ones fighting for the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe. And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Now, just be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
And no, she didn't do it. No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
I tried to save his life.
Yeah.
I tried to save his life at 6 in the morning. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life.
Why'd you admit to it?
She didn't admit to it. She didn't admit to anything close to that. Nothing close to that. And you should know that.
It was like 3 or 4 times she admitted to it.
No, she didn't.
That's not true.
She asked a question. She asked a question, which is very different. She didn't admit to anything.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Karen Reed's not going to fold. Karen Reed's not going to give up. Defense team's not going to quit. The Free Karen Reed movement is going to continue. We will continue to raise funds for her. We will continue to do standouts across Massachusetts, across the nation, across the world to let everybody know what's going on here in the state of Massachusetts, the corruption. And we will continue to get the word out there. Believe me. Believe me. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Let's Talk Live. This is Thursday Night Thunder, and I hope everybody's having an amazing Thursday so far. It's so weird. It just feels like it was like a weird day because there wasn't any trial, and it was very, very hot. It's still very hot here. It's still very hot here in the state of Massachusetts. I think it hit over 90 degrees today at one point when I looked, and I'm going to tell you, that old courtroom where the Karen Reed trial is being held is living. It's a living hell in there. I've sat in there on much less warmer days, and it is hot. I mean, even Jess Machado last night on the show was talking about it. I mean, it is hot. I know people go, "Oh, fucking suck it up, you're a baby." Blah blah. There's no airflow in that room at all. Even with the stupid fan on, even with these air conditioners, that window air conditioners that literally do not work. They must be like 200 BTU air conditioners. I mean, you can never feel it when you're in there. It's warm. It's warm. I sat in when I had the opportunity to sit in a couple of Wednesdays ago. It was like 74 or 75 degrees out, and it felt like it was over 100 degrees in there. So you can only imagine what it's like in there today. But hey, you know, this is how Bev wants to run her courtroom. She wants to have trials in the summer, but it's getting close. It's getting close to holiday time, so we got to wrap it up here. Karen Reed and her team, or at least Karen said the other day outside of court that she's hoping or their plan is to wrap on Tuesday. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a little while longer, in my opinion. You know, I think some of the defense witness testimony that I thought would have been a little bit would have been a lot quicker, like it was last year with Lally. You know, you have Hank Brennan up there, so he's gonna jump in. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna get these witnesses. I'm gonna ask them the questions. So he's gonna dive in deep because it's for the Commonwealth. He's gonna dive in deep, and you know. So anyway, you know, I thought Lucky's testimony was very long the other day. It was close to almost 2 hours, and Hank really drilled in on him. But we're going to go over it tonight. We're going to talk about Barros and Lucky's testimony. And what I want to do tonight is do it a little bit different. Usually we hear we'll hear the defense do their direct, and then we hear the cross. I want to skip the direct, and we're just going to go right to cross tonight because I want to show how these witnesses stood up against Hank Brennan. I think that they held up really well. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is my take on it. I think there was some points during those those each individual testimonies that they did get tripped up a little bit. I mean, Hank is, and I know people hate him. I myself can't stand him. He's for the Commonwealth. Can't stand him. But I'm going to tell you, he's a swarmy, snivy lawyer. He is. I mean, he's a good lawyer. He is. I mean, he will dig deep, and he has the tactics of how to get it out of you. And I wanted you to also take note, especially during Lucky's testimony, how he's going to start on this certain path of harassment, and then he's going to go away from it again, but then he's going to reintroduce it a little bit later in his testimony. And it's a swarmy, swiney way of how he does it. And keep in mind, he's a defense lawyer. I mean, this is the tactics. But anyway, we will get into that tonight. But before we do that, I do have a special guest that's going to jump up with us really quick and give us an update of a standout that's going to be happening here in Norfolk County. Let me bring in Mizzy. Mizzy is a huge supporter of Sandra Birchmore. She helps run the Facebook group Justice for Sandra Birchmore. I also think that she helps with the X account as well, but I'll let her all explain that. Let's not wait too much longer. We'll bring her up here on deck. Mizzy, welcome back.
Hey, Brian.
To Let's Talk Live. How are you?
Pretty good. Hot.
It's warm.
Yeah, this room doesn't have AC, so I'm glad that I'm only popping in and then dipping out.
It's weird, here in New England. I look at like our friends that live down south. They're used to this inclement weather. They're used to the weather, the heat always kind of rising during this time of year. But the thing that's really weird in New England patterns, I have to say, over the last 10 years, here we are talking about the weather. But what is strange about it is it literally takes till June or late June for us to get that real one hot day, but it hits us like all of a sudden. We're all like, oh, I'm going to die. Yeah. But after we get past this one day, we kind of get acclimated to it. So that's New England for us. All right, Mizzy, what do you got? You got a standout that's coming up. And if you want to introduce yourself to people that don't know about you, please do.
Yeah, Mizzy. I run the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group with Sandra's cousin, Barb. We've been fighting for justice for Sandra. I'm a huge advocate in general of, victims of violence to get justice. And, so I support, Karen also getting, because I feel like she's a victim of the corruption of the state. And I want John to get justice. That's one reason why we're doing this, because, I work with Jen, Just on Root's sister. Sometimes we and we're working with Deanna Corby, and we want to do another event at Morrissey's office. There was I was just looking through my phone to scroll back, and I believe it was May 16th. I could be wrong. It was the day that Bev allowed, I think it was the day that Bev allowed them to change their Burge's testimony was going to change a little bit. Okay. I think that's when I was like, I messaged Deanna because I knew Jen was away, and I said, fuck these guys. Because we've been, all three of us have been like, we got to do another Stronger Together event. And I said, you know what? Fuck these guys. We need to do something. Yeah. I said, we want to do another state house event with all the groups coming together. I said, but you know what? Morrissey's is easier to put together, especially since people want to be around for the trial. We all want to watch the trial. We all want to listen to the trial. So I said, Morrissey's is easier to go to. So we all collectively came together, and we decided to do it next Thursday, June 12th at 2 o'clock to 4. We might extend it to 5 to go down to the highway and hold signs down there. But we need as many people as can come to hold signs. It's a call to action to get more, Michael, to ask, or more or less tell Michael Morrissey he needs to resign.
Yeah.
Because what's going on in this courthouse is BS. What happened in Sandra's case is BS, and what happened in Just On Root's case is BS.
I completely agree. I completely agree. So tell us the details. It's going to be out in front of Michael Morrissey's office. What is that? Is it 65 Shawmut? I don't know. What is the address again?
Shawmut.
Yeah, 65 Shawmut Drive, correct?
Oh, actually, I don't.
Is it drive or street?
I think it might be road.
Yeah.
45 Shawmut Road.
Shawmut Road, Canton, Mass.
And it's there's plenty of parking. There, I mean, there's 2 different lots right there that we can park in. Please come. If you don't have a sign, still come. We need people. There'll be extra signs, you know. If you don't have a sign, you can make a simple one, you know, just rip a piece of cardboard and write, you know, resign Morrissey. You know, some of the best protest signs are just quick made signs, just saying what you feel. You know, what's going on in Norfolk County is a microcosm of what's going on in this country, that we need to fix our justice system. And people like Michael Morrissey being a dinosaur standing in our way of progress, we can't have that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know, these 3 cases all involve police corruption from different angles. You know, and we can't allow this to continue.
And they're all intertwined. That's the funny thing about it. It's one case leads into the next, into the next, into the next, and it's all the same, basically the same law enforcement or law enforcement groups that are involved in all of this. And then it goes right up to Michael Morrissey's office. He's the one that's pulling. He's the one that's pulling the strings on all of this. Yeah. So someone did get it correct. It's 45 Shawmut Drive, and that's going to be on June 12th. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that's going to be at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, 45 Shawmut Drive in Canton. And you can come support if you'd like to do that. If you're in the area, everybody is welcome. There's plenty of parking there. I've been down there before as well.
Yeah.
Come show your support, bring a sign, free Karen Reed, justice for Enrique, justice for Sandra, whatever it may be. You can come and stand out there. Real quick, Mizzy, NR has a question. Said, I thought I saw something on Robert Devine the other day. Anyone else see it? I'm sure Mizzy can answer this for you.
Yes. Today and tomorrow, he is up for his post-commission trial or hearing. I mean, they call it a hearing, but to me, it's a trial. Yeah. This determines whether or not he's going to be allowed to keep his license to operate as a police officer. He is retired, but this means that he would be able to do detail work and things like those type of things where he could still make money as a police officer. He would still be able to walk around in a badge, and we can't allow that to happen.
Yeah, and he could essentially, if he kept his post certification, I think that he could go work for another department in like another state or something. I don't know how all that works, but I think that's what it is. And it basically, you get banned. That's it. You can never work under a law enforcement tag again. And what happens with a lot of these guys that get banned from their posts, they go into private practice or private security. That's how they get around this shit. Yeah. So,
and he's a lawyer already, so that's scary enough. So we're hoping maybe with him being fully decertified, maybe that'll bleed into that.
Put some pressure on the bar. Yeah. Maybe put some pressure on the bar. Like, hey, that's fucking wild. Like, wait a minute. This just hit me. This guy is involved in a case with a young girl that was murdered, that he and her baby was murdered. And he is been implicated in this case of massively grooming her at a very, very young age, but is allowed to go in and take classes to become a lawyer and then get certified through the bar. That fucking is mental. This is America, people. This is America. It's crazy. Go ahead, Mizzy.
And he got his bar license not too long after Sandra was murdered, like right in that time period.
Yeah. He needs to be disbarred. Let's put some pressure on the bar, get this guy out of here. And hopefully he gets decertified through the posts. And like we were just saying, they start looking at this and going, sorry, sir. We're going to take your bar association away from you.
I hope so, because no, he does not need to be part of the law in any kind of capacity.
I agree. All right, Mizzy. So June 12th from 2 to 4 p.m., Michael Morrissey's office. Everybody is welcome to come down there and stand out for justice. If you see Mizzy, go over and talk to her. She's such an awesome person, and she can get you informed of any other standouts that are going to be happening in and around the area. Of course, we have the Karen Retrial. That's Karen's saying Tuesday they're hoping to wrap up. I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be a little bit longer than that. Hank Brennan's not Adam Lally, so he's going to dig in a lot more to these defense witnesses. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be one hell of a battle once Arca gets up there. Because that's the case. That is the case.
Yep.
The Commonwealth I said to Karen the other day when I saw her, I said, Karen, everything that you just saw in the first 23, 22 days of this case, okay? It's important. It's critical, but let's just push that aside. The Commonwealth was relying on Shannon and Welcher, okay? Especially Welcher. That's their case because that's the demonstration guy. That's their demo guy. He's the guy that's going to get up there and show all the quote unquote physics to all of this, of how John O'Keefe was hit and how he died, okay? So that was it. And she looked at me and she went, and I said, now they're going to come after Arca, and that's going to be, Hank's, that's the case in all of this, because the FBI has said it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So,
and I don't think people realize that Welcher is most likely coming back.
Yeah, it might be called as a rebuttal witness.
Exactly.
Testify against probably
we're probably
Arca.
not done with him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because he's a pompous ass.
I called him the most insufferable son of a bitch I think I've ever heard. He's the type of guy that goes into a room and says, someone might say, hey, that's off an inch. And he would say, no, it's a quarter. And I'm going to show you why, and bleed you dry until you agree with me or walk out of the room.
Yeah.
That's definitely his attitude, his personality.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. All right, Mizzy.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Good luck with your standout.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to make it if I can. If I have the day off, I'll try to get down there and help support with you guys.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Right.
Have a good night. Have a good
Take care. Bye-bye. Oop. I always cut everybody early. I'm sorry, Mizzy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I cut you early. I always do that. I hit the button like too quick. I'm so sorry. Let me bring her back up. Oh, she's gone. Sorry, Mizzy. I'm sorry. She was laughing backstage. I think I did that last time too when someone popped up. Who the hell did I cut off by accident? It was Meredith. Jeez, I'm so bad with the button. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me get a couple of these out of the way and then we'll start getting into some testimony. Thank you so much, Mizzy, for jumping up. I appreciate that. And it was good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Jody, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Parker, new YouTube member. Thank you. Kim, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. Allison, new member. Thank you. And Brennan's says, Hank has to show how the evil defense team is engaging the trial by ambush and deprive the Commonwealth of its rights to a fair trial. I agree. Melanie, thank you so much for jumping in. $10 says, when I lived in Rhode Island 40 years ago from Alabama, I said they had 2 seasons, winter and 4th of July. I love that. Nancy, $20 super chat. Thank you. Just wanted to say it was nice of you to get Aiden's award for him. You have a good heart. Yeah, you know what? I want to talk about that really quick. So Aiden actually texted me this morning and thanked me, which was like super awesome. Yeah, and by the way, Aiden, you're welcome. Thank you. And I know there's been a lot of people that have been commenting on the video, like, oh, hey, you got remonetized. He said to me that he doesn't think that they're going to send him a silver play button. It could be. I'm not sure. But he said he was very, very appreciative. And he was like, how the hell did you get that? And I said, I had it made for you. So when I see him, I'm going to go down to court next week. When I see him outside of court, I'll present that with him. Maybe we can get a photo or whatever. And I just want him to have that because he fucking deserves it, man. I got it sitting over there. He so deserves that. He should have it. Fuck YouTube. Give him his silver play button. Give him the actual real silver play button. He needs to have that. He earned that. And I like accomplishments. I like goals. And he should be proud of that. 100,000 subscribers on YouTube is very hard to get. Nevertheless, to get like 50,000, and I know Mike Young Jerks just passed 50,000 the other day. So congratulations to Mike. And I'm climbing the ladder here. I think I'm gonna get there in the next couple of weeks or months. So we'll just have to see how things go. But YouTube, give Aiden his real silver play button, okay? But in the interim, we'll have a placeholder for him. And when he gets that, he can do whatever he wants with the one that I gave him. But I want to do something nice for him. He deserves it. Look, he's helped me out. I've helped him out. I respect everything he does. He puts his balls on the line, and he should get that. He should be very proud of that and have that displayed, in his where he does his live shows. I think he should have that. So anyway, so let's move on here. We're gonna go through some testimony tonight. Let's see. And I just had another $10 super chat really quick. Haven't caught you in a while. I'm feeling much confident Karen will be found not guilty with the witnesses from this week. Praying that the jury gets it. Don't think it will end Tuesday. ARCA will be long. I 100% agree with this. I think ARCA is going to be long. All right, let me get my cameras set up here. And let's start having some testimony tonight. We're going to go through some testimony. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming in. Make sure to smash the like button. Buy Microdots gear. You need this mug. It's awesome. I need to start getting some merch together. My merch sucks. I don't like it. I need to redesign it. I need to start getting some merch. But I need to do like coffee mugs like this. It's such a sweet cup. It's like a tall and big one. I love it. All right, let's check the poll at the top of the chat and see what you all have. Because I asked you, who do you want to see first? Do you want to go through Barros or Lucky first? And we're only going to do Cross tonight. Oh, a little echo. All right, hang on here. So wow, it is a close poll. It's 42% Lucky, 58% Barros. We're at 365 votes. All right, we're going to do Sergeant Barros first. Sergeant Barros first. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to widen my screen. And I'm going to be honest through this testimony. I think, there was some spots that were a little bit rough. Hank Brennan came in hard on both of them. And I think, they got caught a little bit, but recovered nicely. That is my opinion. I think they're two dudes that got up that had no skin in this game, that were put into the situation, and they want to just get up and tell the truth. That's it. And Brennan tried to use all this public pressure and, did you talk to the lawyers? Well, yeah, they have the right to do that, to prepare for testimony, you dickhead. They're allowed to go do that. Talk with the lawyers. Be prepared. You do it as well, dickhead. You do it on your side. The Commonwealth talks to people and prepare people. You don't think fucking Veruca Saltz wasn't prepared? You don't think Veruca Saltz wasn't prepared? You got to be kidding me. You don't think Jennifer McCabe wasn't prepared? Of course she was. All right, let's start getting to some testimony here. Here we go.
Is now missing.
I can.
Sustained. Just ask it differently.
Sure. The area that I'm circling here, do you see any red lens in that area?
No.
Is that consistent, this photograph consistent with the condition of the taillight as you saw it on January 29th, 2022, at just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
That's it.
Lights, please. Thank you.
Now, I noticed here, Barros, when Hank Brennan stood up, and you can see his body language a little bit here, and I'm not a body language expert, but he did look a little bit antsy. This is a big pressure situation right now, and he looked a little bit antsy. He's going to shift a little bit here, and he does stumble when he starts off, but he recovers really well. All right, let me back up here.
2022.
Here we go. Hank Brennan's
At
going to
just
get
after
up.
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
VDOT, thank you for 5. Let's keep doing your thing, LTL. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Now, I'm going to warn everybody right now. I'm going to be pausing. I'm going to be stopping. I'm going to be commentating. That's how we do the Thunder on Thursday night. If you want to watch these testimonies without my commentary, I urge you to search them out via YouTube. And I do have Lucky Loughran's testimony on my page, so you can go back and watch that. But that's what we do. This is Thursday Night Thunder. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Have we met before?
We have not.
Do you still work in Dayton?
I do.
At the time you went to the Reed residence, you did not know the occupants?
I did not.
Since then, have you ever met or spoke to William Reed
Nope.
or the defendant?
Nope.
When you went there that day, it was at the request of the state police?
Correct.
When they asked you to come, it's a typical procedure for one law enforcement agency to contact local law enforcement agency?
Correct.
And part of the reason they do that is to bring in separate and independent law enforcement officer to the scene?
Yes.
Because it's your jurisdiction?
Correct.
And they called you before they got to Mr. Reed's house, didn't they?
Yes.
They told you what they were going to do and when they were going to do it?
Yes.
They didn't just show up at the Reed house and then you found out later. They invited you and informed you what the process was going to be.
I wouldn't say that they told me what the process was going to be.
When you got there, were the troopers already there or did they arrive after you?
The troopers were there.
Were they in the house or outside of the house when you got there?
They were outside in a pickup truck.
Did you see them get out of the pickup truck after you got there?
They got out after I identified themselves.
Did you ever see them approach and touch the rear taillight of the defendant's Lexus?
I did not.
Did you ever see?
Juanita, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that. It says Hank sounds like a skinwalker. Like a skinwater. Waka. He said water. Ugh. Here we go.
Manipulate in any
Let me
way
help you up a little
that
bit.
rear taillight of the defendant's Lexus?
I did not.
Did you see them do anything that was suspicious, inordinary, or unfairly remarkable relative to that car?
I did not.
When they spoke to you, they then went inside the house?
What do you mean by spoke to me?
After they introduced you introduced yourself to them, they went into the Reed house,
Yes.
and then they came out.
They came out much later.
And that vehicle was towed.
Correct.
At no time from when you got there until you left did you see anybody from the state police in any way tamper with that vehicle, did you?
I did not.
Deborah, thank you so much for the 5 on Venmo. I appreciate that. All right, here we go. Officer Nicholas Barros, Dayton police officer, on cross with Hank Brennan.
When the vehicle was towed, you know how long it took to take the vehicle from Dayton back to Canton?
How long?
Yes.
I do not.
You didn't escort it back.
I did not.
You had an opportunity to write a report in this case, didn't you?
I did.
And when you did, you had an opportunity to describe the damage to that taillight in any way you wanted to.
I did.
You could have gone into detail about size of the damage.
I could have.
You could have gone into detail about the shape of the damage.
I could have.
You could have gone into detail about the width of the damage.
I could have.
You could have taken photographs of the damage if you wanted to.
I could have.
In fact, there was no limitation on what you could have written in your report regarding the damage, was there?
No.
You write reports regularly, don't you?
I do.
You're trained at the academy. It's the best way to memorialize events.
Isn't it ironic that Hank Brennan is talking about memorialization when we had none of that? None of that. Barely anything at the crime scene. No memorialization. And Hank Brennan's going to come here and talk to Officer Barros like this. All right, Hank. Yeah, that's a good point, Johnny O. That was Proctor's job. Exactly. Here we go.
Correct.
Because in time, your memory is not always as good later on than it is at that moment.
Correct.
What might be important or remarkable later might not be remarkable at the time you're making the observation.
Correct.
So you're taught at the academy to use as much detail as you can so that you can have an accurate memory later on.
Correct.
Because oftentimes, well, you respond to a number of different events and incidents, don't you?
I do.
You write a lot of reports.
Not necessarily now in this position that I'm in, but
Did you at the time?
at the time, correct.
And so it's sometimes difficult to remember the details of all events, and you use the report to refresh your memory.
Correct.
When you wrote your report, and you could have put as much detail as you wanted, is it fair to say you only wrote one single line about the damage to the car?
Correct.
The vehicle had damage.
Barros is doing really well here. doing really well, but he's going to start stumbling here a little bit. And the end was a little bit disastrous as well, too. But he's in the pocket, what I like to say. You can tell he is nervous. I mean, I see some body language on his face here. Like, you know, it's pretty tense. He knows this is very important. All right, here we go.
To the right rear taillight.
That's what I wrote.
Fair to say you didn't document that it was the size of a dollar bill. You didn't say that, did you?
No.
Or that it was 3 to 6 inches. You didn't mention that, did you?
No.
You didn't mention the placement of where the damage was.
To an extent, I did. The right rear tail light.
Right rear taillight. You didn't indicate if it was on the side or on the back.
I did not.
You didn't provide any other details of your description when your memory was probably at its best. True?
True.
And would you agree that your memory that day was probably much more accurate than it is today?
I would not.
When you wrote the report, did you ever have an opportunity to write a supplement report if you wanted to give more detail?
I guess I could.
You didn't.
I did.
Inevitably, you were a witness at trial. I'm sorry, you were a witness at a prior
And neither did any of the officers for the Commonwealth.
proceeding in this case, weren't you?
Correct.
You came in and you swore under oath regarding your memory.
Correct.
And that was probably a year to a year and a half after you first made the observations which you reduced in writing in the police report.
Correct.
And when you made those observations, that was on January 29, 2022?
Correct.
When you came into court and you testified, that was on June 10, 2024.
If that was the date.
You were asked questions to use your best memory to describe the damage to that taillight last time you swore under oath to tell the truth, weren't you?
I don't think I was asked that.
Well, you asked about to describe the best you could the damage to that right rear taillight last time you were in court on June 10, 2024.
I don't think I was told to describe it in depth.
Were you asked questions about the damage to that rear taillight last time you were in court?
I was.
And when you described the damage, did you do your best of your ability to give as much detail as possible?
I did.
Did you qualify your memory at that time, saying to the best of my ability and recollection?
I did.
And when you qualify as a police officer with the best ability and recollection, that is recognizing that time had passed,
Time has passed, yet.
that you had a report, that you could refresh your memory.
Correct.
And did you refresh your memory with that report before you testified last time?
I did.
And when you qualified that it was to the best of your ability and recollection, that account for the fact that when you looked at the report, there was no detail other than your commentary in your report that the vehicle had damage to the right rear taillight.
Correct.
And so when you qualified, you were considering human factors like time had passed,
Correct.
that your report was respectfully scanned.
So he's trying to diminish memory here. That's what he's going to do here and work on Barros. He's going to work on the whole fact of memory. Oh, your memory has faded. We heard a lot that from the defense too. I mean, memories do fade. I mean, that's why we document things and we take photos and we write reports, and that's what he's going to go here on that. We heard a lot from the a lot on the defense too. Use this tactic when they were on cross. Let me just see this. I think I just saw a super duper red chat, a super duper red super chat. Oh, look at this one. Nan, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. As you know, Nan joins me on Monday nights with Todd McGee. And thank you so much for the $100 super chat. I appreciate that. She says, keep showing up. And that's for everybody in here. Keep showing up. Everybody needs to keep showing up. And we will. And we will. And that was very kind of you, Nan. Thank you. And I can't wait for our show on Monday. I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate that so much. All right. Let's do this. Let's keep going on. Barros, we're going to start getting in the thick of it here.
Correct.
But you have heard a lot about this case since that point, hadn't you?
Correct.
And so considering your memory in June of 2024, when you qualified your answer, was it considering all of those different factors that had passed in between that time?
Can you rephrase that?
Yes. When you decided to qualify your answer, and you said to the best ability and recollection, and then you went on to describe what you remember from the break of the taillight, the reason why you used that qualification to the best ability and recollection, is it because of those human factors that had passed?
I would suppose so.
And sir, since the time you came into court on June 10, 2024, have you spoken to anybody from the defense about this case?
Yes.
How many times have you spoken to somebody from the defense about this case after you gave your testimony?
Now you can see Barros' demeanor changing a little bit here. Now he's got kind of a little bit of the oh shit look because they're asking about how many times did you talk about defense? And again, look at he's just doing what he's asked to do. If there's some conversation that needs to happen to talk about his testimony and go over his testimony, they can do that. You have every right to do that. And Hank Brennan's going to try to put him up against the wall.
Testimony on June 10th, 2024.
Once.
Where did you speak? Who did you speak to?
Attorney Jackson.
Did you speak to him in person or on the phone?
In person.
Okay, don't. Okay. You're not hesitating, are you?
No.
Where did you speak to him in person?
Oh, come on, Hank. I love this. This is the tactic that he's going to use because his shitty witness that actually turned into a Commonwealth witness, which was brilliant tax. I'm telling you, I think Jackson and co. knew that Veruca Saltz was going to go down that way. I think they knew that she was going to act that way. Let's put her up on the stand. Let's ask her if she went in and spoke to the commissioner. I think they knew. And I talked to Nan about that. On our last Monday show and Todd, and they agreed. They completely agreed. And I thought that was a brilliant tactic, but it turned into Commonwealth witness. And we saw this hesitation, a lot of hesitation by Veruca Saltz. And he's going to try to do this. I think he tries this tactic with Barros, and he actually tries it with Lucky as well, too. All right, here we go.
At his hotel.
How did you know where Attorney Jackson was staying?
He told me.
Did you find it odd to go visit an attorney at their hotel and talk about a case?
It was in their conference room.
Find it odd. Go to somebody's hotel to speak to them about a case.
No.
Without saying the name of the hotel, where was the hotel located?
Boston.
And where were you located?
At my house.
I don't feel comfortable telling you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You have to drive.
I did.
So you took the effort.
Like that
to go
pushback
to
from
Mr.
Barros.
Jackson, his request. Did you know who Mr. Jackson was?
I did.
Did you see him on TV?
I did.
When you went there to the hotel in the conference room, who else was there?
Attorney Little.
Okay. Who else?
I'm not sure of the other gentleman's name.
So he's trying to get him to say like, oh, Karen Reed was it? Karen fucking wasn't there. Okay. Karen wasn't there. Okay. He's talking to the attorneys, but that's what Brennan was trying to do and get here. Like, oh, Karen must have been there too. That's not the fact. He went there to talk to the attorneys. He's allowed to talk about his testimony and prepare.
Was one of the gentlemen right here on the end?
The
good looking one down there on the right?
No, it was not.
Somebody else?
Somebody else.
Okay. Was there anybody else there?
No.
When you were in that conference room, were you shown your police report?
No.
Were you shown your testimony from the last time you came to the court?
No.
The photograph of the vehicle in Sally Port, the vehicle with the missing glass, were you shown that?
No.
Had you ever seen that photo before?
Of course.
And you saw it at the last event you testified at, right?
Correct.
And when you were shown that photo during your prior testimony, you never, ever suggested that that was in any way different than what you had seen in that. Nobody
asked me that.
You were asked to describe the damage, and you were shown that photograph. You never, ever suggested that there was a difference in the damage as you see it in that photo compared to what you remember, did you?
I don't think anybody asked me to describe that.
Did you ever make a note or say anything that is dissimilar to what you remember at the last event that you testified at?
I testified that that was not the taillight the day that I saw it.
Oh, again, working on the memory here. Working on the memory. Christy, thank you so much. $5 says, love what you're doing to upgrade the studio. Keep up the hard work. Wow, you've been knocking it out of the park with lots of content for us. Thank you. I appreciate that so much, Christy. Look, I want to try to make sure that, we have the most outstanding content here on LTL. I've been really working on my craft. And I talked about this the other day when Jason was on. I've been really working on my craft of just getting better as a host. And I have to be honest with you. I think the wonderful guests that I've had, over this kind of, I hate using 2.0, but the retrial, I reached out to a certain group of people that I wanted to interact with during my shows and formulate those. And I've had such great practice with Nan and Todd, and Jason's been on panel, and then obviously Wednesdays with Jess. So, being able to do that and being comfortable with all of them has made me so much better to be comfortable with other guests. And, being able, now I have an idea of how to prepare for a guest. I've kind of nailed that down. And it helps. I'll be honest with you. I have Ted Daniel coming on Sunday morning at 11, Boston 25. I'm nervous as hell, but we'll get through it. I have awesome questions for him. I can't wait to have him up on panel. It's pretty rad. But we'll get through it and we'll do a good show for you guys. But no, I appreciate it. And, again, just working hard. And look, this is all gonna, it's all going to change. It's all going to evolve, whatever the outcome of Karen Read's case is. And I truly believe that she's going to be 100% not guilty. I truly believe that. And we still have a long way to go. I mean, there's all the civil litigation that she's going to have to deal with for a long time, and it just sucks. But there will be other things that we move on to. And I hope that all of you will continue on the LTL journey along with me, because I plan on doing this for a long time. All right, let's get back to testimony. And thank you again so much for your super chat. I appreciate that.
At the last event?
Did.
Yes?
Yes.
You said that photo does not depict what you saw?
Correct.
Yes?
Yes.
And when you testified to that at the last event, who was asking you that question?
District Attorney Lally.
Okay. And you remember making that comment under oath?
I do.
Do you remember that as well as your memory about what the taillight looked like back in Dayton?
I do.
When you were asked questions about that taillight, you had
But you see these, I want to say, like, these two witnesses, okay, in you notice, like, defense witnesses, when they get up, they're straight, they're concise, there's no hesitation, they just tell their testimony, they tell it like it is. We have Commonwealth witnesses, it's shady, there's pausing, there's pushback, there's attitudes. You notice that? Because I noticed that a lot. Barros is just going. He's just answering the questions. There's no hesitation. Yes, no, maybe, whatever it may be.
Described the taillight as
Thank you, Ashley.
not completely damaged. It was cracked, and there was a piece missing, but not completely damaged. Remember that testimony?
I do.
Is that accurate testimony?
It's accurate.
So, in your memory, in June 10, 2024, was that vehicle's rear tail light had a piece missing, correct?
Correct.
You said that your memory about the damage to the tail light, as you recall it when you were in Dayton back on January 29, 2022, you said your memory is as good as your memory that you said in court there was a difference.
Going on memory again.
The damage, right?
Right.
But see, this is like Hank's theme. He'll talk about memory. Remember how he started his cross? He went to memory. He kind of got away from that again. He brought it up again. Then he went away from it, and then he brought it up again. And this is him kind of working that chain.
Have you ever read your testimony from your last proceeding?
Never.
But you have a specific memory of discussing that specific photograph.
Lawn and Order, $2 super chat. Thank you. Says Hank is a scoundrel. I haven't heard that word in a while. Good content, my guy. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Everybody smash that like button. Let's get some more peeps in here. And we'll hang out for a little while here on Thursday Night Thunder. Back to Barros. Here we go.
Yes?
Yes.
Any approach?
Yes.
I'm going to show you your transcript of sworn testimony on June 10, 2024. And when you reflect on your memory, understanding some time has passed,
Going on memory.
that your memory of distinguishing that photo is reflected in your testimony, right? Yes.
So ask the question differently.
Okay. Your memory is that you discussed the distinction between that photo and what you saw at the last time you testified. Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
And I just take
Or
a look at it. Could you show me anywhere in your testimony, anywhere, where you made any statement about that photo being inconsistent with what you saw in Dayton on January 29th, 2022.
I don't think so, Mary. I don't think they showed it. I think you're right. From what I remember, I have to go back and look at it, but I think you're right in that.
It's not in there.
Can I approach?
Yes.
I can put it back on. Thank you.
He's gonna. This is now. You see the sigh? Little stress going on. So we're gonna see what happens here. Let me just get this out of the way. Binging crimes, not cookies. $10. Says I'm late. So you have seen this already, but just in case, the trolls are clipping your show with Jess and reporting her to the Commonwealth for jury tampering. Yeah. I saw the clip. I responded, and there's nothing wrong with what she did. Christina Rex was just doing this and talking about the jury, and I thought I saw other legacy media reporters that were talking on X about the jury as well. I know John DePietro has done it, and he's been all over Court TV. So it's fine. Let them do whatever they want to do. You know, these are clearly people that have no life. You know, it was funny. One of them here called us grifters, but yet at every end of their video that they put out, an anti-Karen Reed video, at the end of it, it says, oh, and if you'd like to support what we're doing, please, if you'd like to support us monetarily, please clip and buy us a coffee, because that will help support the platform. So when they do it, it's not grifting. But if I get up here and support Karen Reed and I make a little bit of money and I actually donate it, a lot of money, donate that money back to her defense fund, I'm a grifter. I'm the grifter because I use my Google payouts to raise billboards, two billboards in Foxborough, Massachusetts for Enrique Delgado Garcia. Now, I've never seen one of those motherfuckers take any of their payout from their YouTube channel, the anti-free Karen Reed crowd. I've never seen one of those motherfuckers take any of their money and donate it to a scholarship in John's name, or raise a billboard for you know, anti-free Karen Reed, whatever it may be. I haven't seen them do one of it. They've done nothing positive in their community. These are people that are just angry within themselves because life didn't go their way. And they're just trying to find one little last inkling to hang on to. Oh, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find a group of positive people that want to do something positive for their community, push back against corruption in Norfolk County, push back for the murder of John O'Keefe, what happened at 34 Fairview, not Karen Reed. Karen Reed was not involved with what happened there. They want to get angry that I personally, I don't really care what other people do. I raised some billboards to push back against corruption here in the state of Massachusetts, but I'm the asshole. I'm the grifter. But if you want to help them out at the end of their video, like it says, you can buy them a coffee. I know what Buy Me a Coffee is. I have one set up. That's supporting them monetarily. They are monetized. You are monetized. Clip this. You are monetized, you fucking joke. It's the same thing. I have every right to be here and do what I'm doing. Okay, I have every right to start a media company if I want to do that. That's America. I have the right to free enterprise. I can start a company. You have the right to do what you're doing. But don't come at me and say, oh, you're making money. Yeah, I am. I am. Yes, I get super chats. I do. I make money, but I use a lot of that money to help out my community. I haven't seen you do one fucking thing. You draw on a sign and you go out and stand in front of the courthouse with it in front of your face because you're afraid to show your face. So anyway, I digress on that. I can shout all I want. This is my show. If you don't watch it, don't watch. Just don't watch. Okay? Don't watch. I will do what I want on my platform. I'm tired of people telling me what to do here on my platform. Okay? I will do this. I have every right to fight back and I have every right to shout as loud as I want. That's who I am. And maybe this is just not the show for you. Anyway, let's get back to more productive things and get back to Barros.
So respectfully, sir, your memory about distinguishing that photo is not as you thought it was and claimed it was in this transcript, correct?
Correct.
And that's not a matter of you trying to fool anybody or lying, is it?
No.
No, it's a matter of time passes and memory fades. Yes?
Yes.
And that's one real example.
Amy, it's 30%, and then I get taxed on top of that, and I have to file taxes at the end of the year, and I end up paying a big tax bill. Okay? That's how it works. It's people don't like small. Massachusetts hates small business. Believe me, they hate small business. All right, let's get back to more important things and dive back into Barros.
Why the Academy, they teach you when you write reports to be as detailed as you can. To accommodate the fact that memories can fade, right?
Correct.
Memories can change.
I know what I saw, and that wasn't it.
Well, that's not what
There
I'm
you
asking
go.
Because you just testified that under oath you had looked at that photo and distinguished it. But that's not accurate, is it?
No.
And so it's not a matter of you perjuring yourself or lying, it's a matter of difficulties with memory, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Correct.
And you share those same difficulties with memory as many other witnesses. Objection.
Sustained.
You have, as is human nature, difficulties with memory at times, correct?
Correct.
And so that very certain memory you had.
Here's where he stumbles a little bit, but this is where he's going to stumble. He just got him. This is what I'm talking about. What do we hear? And I'm kind of looking at we're 36 minutes in this testimony. He's been up there for about 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes with Hank. And this is what I'm talking about. In the beginning, what did Hank go and attack? Memory. Then we had a little bit of testimony. He went back to memory. Then we had a little testimony. He went back to memory. Now we had a little bit more testimony. And here we are again. And he just got him to say, yeah, well, memories do fade. I'm going to rewind it so you can hear it.
Distinguish it.
I know what I saw, and that wasn't it.
Well, that's not what I'm asking you, because you just testified that under oath you had looked at that photo and distinguished it. But that's not accurate, is it?
No.
And so it's not a matter of you perjuring yourself or lying, it's a matter of difficulties with memory, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Correct.
And you share those same difficulties with memory.
There it is. That's a little bit of a stumble here. And again, I'm just pointing out what I see in here. He stumbled. I think he did a great job. It just didn't end well. He stumbled.
Memory of many other witnesses. Objection.
Sustained.
You have, as is human nature, difficulties with memory at times, correct?
Correct.
And so that very certain memory you had about your testimony last year, fair to say that never happened.
Correct.
You were simply mistaken, weren't you? Or something more, please tell me.
Correct.
Stumbled there too. You were just simply mistaken about what you saw. Correct.
When you met with the attorneys in Boston, what'd you talk about?
It was just a way for them to meet with me and see me face to face, and then ask me how I would be subpoenaed, who would they need to send a court summons to, what my schedule was like coming up in the next months.
Those things all could have been accomplished by phone, correct?
Could have.
So the face-to-face meeting, what did you talk about? Objection.
I'm going to allow it.
Over here. What did you talk about? Excuse me.
What?
Okay.
Over here.
over here. Over here. Did anybody catch this? Because Barros is doing a human natural reaction. Okay. So you had Jackson object. You hear a voice. It's quiet in the courtroom. You hear a voice. So what is your natural reaction? You're going to, as a human being, you're going to see, all right, I heard something. Where's that coming from? So his eyes diverted from Hank Brennan and looked at Jackson, and Hank Brennan, the douche nozzle that he is, says, over here. Like, don't look at Jackson, look at me. And then Jackson's like, wait a minute. We're going to talk about this. All right, let's go back so we can hear it again.
So be subpoenaed, who would they need to send a court summons to, what my schedule was like coming up in the next months.
Those things all could have been accomplished by phone, correct?
Could have.
So the face-to-face meeting, what did you talk about?
I'm going to allow it.
Over here. What did you talk about? Excuse me.
So that, okay?
Over here.
Jackson said, over here. Yeah. Law and Order says the over here by Brennan was so cringe. I think he lost all momentum and credibility in that moment. Own the goal. Yeah, I mean, that might not sit well with the jury. You're absolutely right. The jury's sitting there. They're hearing that. And it's a very douche nozzle, move. Hopefully the jury picked up on that. Maybe it did swing some momentum back and I love how Jackson answers it and says, can we approach? You can't treat my witness like that. You can't treat this witness like that. So this could be a great strategy and maybe turn the tides here with the jury. And thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. All right, let's go back to Barros. I'm going to speed it up for time purposes here, get through the sidebar. And it looks like they come back right here. Let me do this. I think we just reached the goal. I think we did. Maybe we'll start a new one, right? Nope. We need one more. Hit that goal. One more to hit that goal. All right, here we go. Back to the sidebar. Florida checking in. Thank you.
You told us there was some background about being subpoenaed and time substantively. What did you talk about with the attorneys when you met them at the hotel conference?
Other than that, they didn't go over my testimony. We just spoke about that I said that the taillight was not completely damaged.
Okay. Did you get into any detail about the conversation, about your testimony today?
No.
When did you meet with them?
I don't have the date.
Last year, this year?
Kelly L, thank you so much for the $5.
I don't have the date. I don't recall.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Year frame. Last year, this year?
Probably June. Early in this year.
Are you having some difficulty with memory about that as well?
On a certain date, yes.
Not a certain date. Was it this year probably, or do you think you met them this year?
This year.
Again, tacking memory again. See how this tacking memory. You're going to hear a lot of this through these witnesses. He does it with Lucky as well, too. Melissa, I need a White Claw. Thank you so much. $5 says, thank you for all you do, B. Hope this makes your goal. I think we did. Maybe can we throw another one up there? Maybe we could do it. Maybe we can do it again. I think we did. Why does it keep saying 9 out of 10? I don't get that. Am I missing something here? Did we make the goal? Let's see. Just keep saying 9 out of 10. Maybe we'll throw a new one up there. No, it's not allowing me to. That's odd. That's very odd. Start another goal. Oh, it's gonna be $5 or above. That's why. I see it. All right, let's go.
You know what month you met them this year?
It ended?
Certainly you talked about this issue.
Did it end? All right,
Yes.
let's start another one.
Talk about the issue with the tail. Like, did anybody from the defense offer you any information?
No.
Did they ask you questions about it?
No.
Set it a little lower this time. We'll go $2 and above.
In a conference room. And nobody talked
There we
about
go.
the tail light? Objection.
I'm going to allow it.
Sir, I'll ask you another question instead. Have you had an opportunity to see other evidence of that taillight being damaged that morning before you saw it?
On the 29th of January? No.
The video that was shown to you with the tow truck, had you seen that before today?
Yes.
Who showed it to you?
From seeing it on TV, and
Was it shown to you during your conference room meeting at the hotel?
it was not.
So you looked and studied and watched this case a little bit?
With all due respect, sir, I don't live under a rock. It's all over social media and the news. You can't avoid it.
I'm not criticizing you or discounting you, I'm just asking you. Have you been exposed to this case since you made those observations indicted on January 29, 2022?
I have.
Have you seen other video footage and evidence about that taillight since January 29, 2022?
I have.
Have you seen other information since you last testified last summer about the taillight?
I have.
And seeing this extraneous
Thank you, Law and Order.
information, do you think that played a part in some of your difficult memory? Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
I mean, that's the thing though, too, is, you look at like this jury and it's like, you don't think that maybe one of them haven't heard about the Karen Reed case. If you live in Massachusetts, this is everywhere. And I was talking about this on the show with Jess last night. The Karen Reed movement is everywhere in Massachusetts. For Christ's sakes, I'm sure there's a juror that's driven by a standout. You know what I mean? How would you live in the state of Massachusetts and be oblivious to what's going on in to Karen Reed? Everybody knows that name in the state of Massachusetts. People that I just run into, I even say, have you ever heard of Karen Reed? And they're like, oh my God, like completely unrelated people that you would not even think would know about this case. And they're like, yeah, I know Karen Reed. I've heard of it before. I mean, how do you not? I mean, I could how do you not know about this case? It's so public here. It's so big. False memory. I love that screen name, by the way. Says, great show. Thank you from Michigan. I appreciate that. Glitter Beauty says, we'll always support truth and real justice. Thank you so much for the $2 super duper duper chat. All right, let's get back to Barros and we'll get lucky here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, back to approach. Let's speed up.
Back in 2022. Wouldn't that be fair to say?
Would be fair to say.
Juanita, thank you for the
Based on all
two.
the additional information you've read and seen.
He says, keep up the great work, B. You're awesome. Well, you're awesome. Thank you for being here and being a subscriber and supporter of the channel. I appreciate it. All right, here we go.
Would you agree it's had some effect on your memory?
I guess.
No, I don't want you to guess. You testified that you made explanations at the last trial that you didn't make, right?
Correct.
You had memories, you testified in direct examination under oath, and you tried your best about things that just didn't happen, right?
Right.
Would you agree that you have some difficulty with your memory?
I'd agree.
That's back to memory again. Wouldn't you agree that you've had some flaws in your memory? I agree. It's frustrating.
I want to show you some evidence of that taillight before you had a chance to see it indictment. If we could have the ring video at 5:07:58, please.
Excuse me. Where's everybody from? Drop it in the chat.
I have.
Before you proceed, Ms. Gilman, have you seen this on social media?
The news, social media.
Has anybody else shown you this video?
No.
How many times do you think you've been exposed to this video?
Too many to count.
Because you were involved in this case.
UK
I'm gonna
checking
say
in.
predicate. There were no orders for you not to look at anything. I'm not suggesting anything prior. But because you were involved in this case and issues regarding the taillight, do you think you had a particular interest when things like this came on TV and social media to take a look to compare to your memory?
Did I have a
Yes.
particular interest? No, I didn't follow this case
But you've seen this many, many times.
because of what is out there on social media and the news.
I understand. Who's right this way?
Oh, I hate that fucking condescending thing. I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. I hate when he does that. And Your Honor, you know what? I welcome it. The defense wants to bring an ACCA. It's fine. I welcome it. They want to bring these new reports. I welcome it. It's okay. All right. It's fine. I'm not stressing you out, am I? Ugh!
see that white part of the back rear right taillight?
Objection.
I'm going to allow it.
You see that? Sir?
I don't need a badge. Thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. If you're a member, make sure you go to my homepage after all my live shows, or if I'm not doing anything, you can go back, scroll all the way to the bottom, and I have all my members only content at the very bottom of my homepage, and you can see all of that stuff. And I do try to do a members only at least once every 2 weeks. But maybe I turn those into like regular nights. Maybe instead of doing Thunder on the regular channel, we do Thunder on members only. And then if you want to come hang out with us, you can join as a member. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I've been doing about every 2 weeks. About every 2 weeks. All right, here we go.
Can you zoom in a little bit more? I can.
You can or cannot?
I can.
You can. CAN can?
Yes.
Thank you. Continue, please. Stop. Can you bring it back, Stella? Back more.
It's cracked.
Open, right there. Zoom, please. You see, sir?
Kelly L, thank you so much for the 2. The Hank voice. Yes. The Hank voice. You see it right there?
Sir,
You see
I can
off
see
the
that.
Barros?
is that consistent with the damage that you saw when you looked at that Lexus in Dayton hours later?
Consistent.
Can we go to Exhibit 10, please? And before you show it, I have a couple of questions. This was a snowstorm, kind of like a blizzard that day.
Yes.
And when you got to the driveway, it had not been shoveled or plowed.
Correct.
There was quite a bit of snow accumulating and ongoing.
Yes.
And there was snow coming down on top of everything, the ground, the streets, the cars, correct?
Correct.
And snow was accumulating, did you notice, on cars and packing onto cars?
Yes.
When you looked at this house, when you looked at the defendant's Lexus in Dayton, you didn't go over and scoop out any of the snow that was in that broken taillight, did you?
I did not.
You didn't try to remove any snow off it or that was accumulated inside of it?
I did not.
And the snow that was snow packed on that car, wasn't there?
There was.
There was snow packed around the light, wasn't it?
There was.
And would you agree with the snow, since you didn't tamper with it or try to remove anything, that could impede your ability to accurately observe the depth of the damage? Would you agree with that?
I would.
If we could have Exhibit 10, please.
I'm going to speak to the defense, and I hope that someone from the defense is watching right now. You have a major opportunity. Now, Robert Alessi barely touched on this the other day. You need to get this in with one of your witnesses. You need to go back. And I'm going to hang on. I'm just going to do it this way because it's just a lot easier. Let me pull up a presentation here because we have an opportunity here, a major opportunity, something that I see as a major flaw in this case. And the defense has an opportunity here to really expose this. And they're not doing it. And it's just making me angry about this. All right, let me pull this up here. I want to show this and then we'll go back to testimony. But this is a major opportunity for the defense. So if you are listening or someone from the defense is listening, you need to do this. Let me share my screen. Here's Karen Reed's SUV. Okay, this is inside the Sally port. What do we notice? Salt, debris, sand, water spots, whatever it may be. That's all over the back of Karen Reed's SUV. Okay, let me take you forward. If this taillight smashed John O'Keefe's arm and blew up, and Karen, and I've talked about this before, Karen leaves 34 Fairview, goes back to John's house, there's a snowstorm, and if you're in Massachusetts, you know that they already start treating the roads before even the snow is hitting. So there's already sand, salt, and debris. She drives back to Meadows. She wakes up. John doesn't come home. She goes back to 34 Fairview. Now we're in full blizzard. So that's sand, salt, debris, water, snow. Then drives back to Meadows, then drives all the way to her parents' house from Canton. The car's there at her parents' house. Proctor shows up, gets flatbedded, goes all the way back to Canton from Dighton on a flatbed. Sand, salt, debris. Are you getting my drift here? No pun intended. This is a major problem here. Why, if this taillight exploded and this was exposed to all of those elements, why is this piece that is inside the housing of that taillight pristine, clean, pristine? Why? So that's one of two things. This taillight was fucked with inside the Sally port and smashed. And I just lost my train of thought. It would not it would not be like this if this taillight exploded and was exposed to all those elements. So this means that the taillight was only cracked when Karen backed up and backed into John's Chevy Traverse and left to go find him. So there was a crack in it, not smashed. So I hope everybody's getting my drift. But this is, I'm sorry. This is my point. Either that didn't happen or someone fucking cleaned, and thank you. I just saw this in the chat. That's the point I was getting to. Or someone cleaned this evidence. You can't clean evidence and take photos. It doesn't work that way. It has to be the most accurate way that it was found at the crime scene. Look how pristine and shiny this light is. Right? It would not happen. Look how clean that is. It's pristine. It looks like literally someone took it out of a box and just took a hammer to it and smashed it. But this is a huge opportunity for the defense, and they need to push back about this. They need to weigh this to the jury. It's such a simple thing, too. I don't know how they didn't get this in or talk about it or bring it up. It's been frustrating to me. They need to do this. It's so frustrating to me. It would put so much reasonable doubt in the jury's mind. All right, let's get back to Barros.
Does that appear to be the same Lexus you looked at when it was in Dighton? And it's a far view, so I don't want you to guess.
BRB.
You can tell me.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I can't.
Can you take a look to the right? You see that right tail light, the white part?
I can.
Missing, yes?
Looks like snow is packed on it.
Does it look like there's a right tail light there?
Does not.
This is before you saw the car in Dighton. Do you know that, or you wouldn't know that?
That doesn't look like the Reed's driveway.
Do you know if this photograph was taken before or after you made your observations in Dighton?
I do not.
The right rear tail light and the missing parts of it, is that consistent with what you saw around 3:27 on January 29, 2022?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Light on, please, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief. Sergeant, did you celebrate your birthday 2 years ago?
I did.
Kind of a big deal. It's your birthday, right?
Great.
Yes.
What day of the week was your birthday 2 years ago?
No idea.
Do you have a difficult memory, sir?
Yes.
The fact that you had a birthday, you recall, correct?
Correct.
The day of the week of that birthday may fall by the wayside in your mind, right?
Right.
Sustain us to the form, Mr. Jackson.
Of course. The fact that you can't remember the day of the week, does that mean that you have a bad memory?
Objection.
I'm going to allow it.
Correct.
You remember being in Dighton, correct? Being called out to Dighton to the residents of the Reeds.
Correct.
Do you remember the time?
I do.
Do you remember the weather?
I do.
Do you remember who you met there?
I do.
Do you remember the conversations that you had?
I do.
Do you remember the phone calls that you received?
I do.
The first one?
I do.
The second one?
I do.
Do you remember being in the garage and speaking with someone?
I do.
Do you remember this lady, pretty lady right here in the blue?
I do.
You remember meeting Mr. Reed?
Briefly.
Handsome gentleman with the gold tie?
I do.
You remember all that? Right? Do you remember the SUV?
I do.
Do you remember the condition of the taillight?
I do.
You were asked whether or not you saw Trooper Proctor in any way manipulate that right rear taillight while it was out at Dighton, while you were there, correct?
Correct.
You said no. Honestly, I never saw him touch it, right?
Correct.
Were you in the Sally Port in Canton PD? I'm sorry, in Canton, in the Sally Port, at the police station?
I wasn't.
At 5:30 p.m.?
Sustained.
At any point, did you ever go to the Sally Port at Canton PD that day?
I did not.
Do you have any idea what did or didn't happen inside the Sally Port?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were asked by Mr. Brennan, you could have taken photos had you wanted to, correct?
Correct.
And certainly you could have, right?
Correct.
Was that your vehicle that was being seized?
No.
You were simply there to assist another officer, right?
Objection.
Before Mr. Jackson.
Of course. What were you there to do?
Just to assist another agency.
Would it have been normal protocol for you to photograph that vehicle?
No.
Did you see Trooper Proctor photograph the vehicle?
No.
Did you see Sergeant Buchanan photograph the vehicle?
No.
By the way, you and I did meet once before, correct?
Correct.
Was that before or after you testified last year at another hearing?
After.
And you were called by whom last year at the other hearing? The defense or the Commonwealth?
The Commonwealth.
You testified for them?
Correct.
Objection. Move to strike.
So that's stricken. It's
Jury still hears it.
Did the Commonwealth ever contact you after your testimony at the hearing last year?
They did not.
Did they ever call you on the telephone?
After?
Correct.
No.
Did they ever send you a subpoena?
No.
And you testified last year that the taillight was cracked but not, or damaged but not completely broken, correct?
Objection.
sustained.
You and I met in a hotel in a conference room, correct?
Correct.
Anything sketchy or nefarious about that?
No.
Did I introduce myself to you?
You did.
You happen to know I live in Los Angeles?
Correct.
I don't have a house.
This is
Right?
brilliant.
Correct.
I don't have an office out here, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know whether or not I have an office?
I do not.
Do you remember me asking you if you would mind meeting at a hotel where I was staying in a conference room?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any problem with that?
Nope.
Did you find that unusual?
No.
Did you and I ever speak, ever, before your testimony last year?
No.
Did I ever tell you how I wanted you to testify?
No.
Did I ever tell you what to say?
No.
Did I show you any testimony?
No.
Did I play you any video?
No.
Did I show you a single photograph?
No.
During that conversation, did you tell me how to subpoena you?
I did.
Did you tell me where the subpoena should be directed?
I did.
Did you tell me your vacation schedule?
I did.
Did you tell me your availability and willingness to testify?
I did.
Did we talk about any other thing of substance other than that and whether or not you recalled what your testimony was from last year?
That was all we talked about.
As you sit here, Sergeant Barros, do you have any difficulty recalling what the condition of that taillight was on January 29th, 2022, at about 3 or 3:15 in the afternoon when you saw the vehicle? Any
No.
difficulty whatsoever?
No.
Do you remember the condition of that taillight?
I do.
Was the condition of that taillight the same as the photo that I showed you on my direct examination?
No.
That's it. That was a good cleanup. And I love the fact that AJ gets in the part about the hotel and meeting them at the hotel and cleaning all that up for the jury, because he's like, there's nothing nefarious going on. I don't have an office here. So where are you going to meet me? You know, we're going to meet in a conference room at the hotel that I'm at, and we're going to talk. You have every right to do that. And I love how he cleans that up, because Hank was trying to make it like, oh, it was shady. Oh, they're meeting Barros. I'm sure Karen Reed was there, blah, blah, blah. That's what he was trying to do. By the way, Patricia, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. She says, thank you, Brian, for all that you do. By the way, that was awesome last night when you had Aiden's YouTube plaque for 100,000. subscribers. P.S. I'm from Hyde Park too. Grew up on the Sunnyside section. That's awesome. That is so awesome. All right, let's move on. I'm going to move to Lucky here. Let me take this down. We're going to put up Lucky. Widen my screen for a second. But again, I think that the defense has a major opportunity with talking about that and trying to get the condition of that taillight without the debris all over it. This happened in Karen Reed's driving all over the place and gets flatbedded up on the truck. Why is this taillight inside the taillight perfectly clean? It doesn't make sense. All right, let's do some of Lucky's testimony here. Again, we're going to just do the cross, Hank Brennan on cross. And here we go. Make sure to smash that like button, please, as we go. Here we go.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm going to turn this up, boost it a little bit for everybody. Hang on. Just want to boost that volume. Boost the volume. Here we go. This should be good.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Have you and I met before?
No, sir.
This is our first time speaking?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you say that your memory from that night is very strong. Would it be fair to say that before today, you've talked about this case many times?
Yes.
You've interviewed with different law enforcement people as well as civilians and attorneys, haven't you?
Correct.
I have not been one of them.
No, you have not.
And is it fair to say that when you've recounted that night as far as times and what you saw, many times your memory has changed? Is that fair to say?
It has not.
You spoke to a private investigator on behalf of the defense shortly after that night?
Yes.
Was that the first time that you spoke to somebody about what you had seen or not seen?
Yes.
That is the first time?
Yes.
Really took note about this too when I watched this. Robert or Leslie really tuned in to Lucky's testimony. I really noticed that when I saw this.
Inevitably,
Really locked in.
over time, you have given statements to at least 4 different people, correct?
Correct.
And you've testified in court under oath?
Correct.
During the pendency from that night until today, it's fair to say there are many times where you have been intimidated, isn't it?
No.
You've been threatened.
Nope.
Okay, so here it is, and this is what I talked about with Barros. We went with memory. Now, what Brennan's going to do here is intimidation, and you're going to hear it. So he just first introduced it. He's going to keep kind of hammering on a little bit. He's going to go away, and then he's going to try to bring it up again. Watch this kind of circle that he's going to go in here.
You were aware, sir, that you were being threatened by an online blogger to expose you?
Aiden Carney has entered the chat.
I was not.
You're saying as you sit here today, you have no awareness in the history of this case that you were being threatened by an online blogger?
I was not threatened by an online blogger.
Was the online blogger threatening or saying that he would expose you and tell personal things about you if you weren't helpful?
He was not threatening.
Let's remove the word threatening. Was the person communicating and making clear to you that if you didn't testify in a certain way, there would be some consequence to you? Any time from when you first spoke to the private investigator until today, were there communications made to you by an online blogger that there would be consequence for you if you didn't testify in a way that was acceptable to them?
No.
You listened, of course.
So he's going to hammer Lucky on this, the intimidation, the attacking, the threat. He's not going to get it. And then what he's going to do is this slimy tactic where he's going to try to scare him with the FBI. Oh, did you know when you spoke to them, did they let you know that it could be a 10-year penalty if you weren't telling the truth? He's trying to intimidate him, essentially, and bring up the FBI. And you'll see that here in a minute.
Didn't you to podcasts that were about you?
I did not.
People told you about them.
Yes, they did.
When friends told you about them, you knew who that person was that was making those claims, correct?
Correct.
You were well aware of the person had a very strong and large social media presence.
I didn't know how large or what his presence were, but yes, I knew he had a blog.
Well, you know now because you follow that blogger now, don't you?
I do follow him, yes.
Do you pay for a subscription?
I do not.
Did you get one for free?
I did not.
And in following that blogger, you know full well the power that person has to get attention from the community to harass, correct?
Yes.
And so during the pendency...
You're a little confused by that. You can see Lucky. I don't think Lucky understood that question. You see how his eyebrows went down? It was like kind of confusion. Let's go back and watch that again. Damn, I wish we had the ability to zoom in on YouTube. YouTube fixed that. We should be able to have the ability to zoom in on a video. Watch his eyebrows here after he answers that question. A little bit, I think he's a little bit confused as to how that was asked. Here we go.
The person was that was making those claims.
Watch his eyebrows.
Correct.
You were well aware of the person had a very strong and large social media presence.
I didn't know how large or what his presence were, but yes, I knew he had a blog.
Well, you know now because you follow that blogger now, don't you?
I do follow him, yes.
Do you pay for a
Here it
subscription?
comes.
I do not.
Did you get one for free?
I did not.
And in following that blogger, you know full well the power that person has to get attention from the community to harass, correct?
Yes.
And so during the
There.
pendency of this case, not only were you aware...
He was a little confused because Brennan snuck in to harass at the end of that. He said, and he has the ability to get attention in the community to harass, correct? To harass, correct? So he kind of slipped it in there, and you can kind of see a little bit of the confusion on Lucky's face. Let me get to this really quick. Susie C., thank you so much. So they hope they bring more attention to the time of the call to arrange the tow of Karen's car in Drill Proctor's intention from the jump. That's a good point. Very good point. All right, I'm going to boost up the sound a little bit for everybody. Here we go.
That you were being pressured to testify a certain way. You also need to be consequences if you didn't. Isn't that true?
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
The premise of that question is not accurate.
So he can answer it.
You knew there was pressure for you to testify a certain way in this case, didn't you?
I did not know I was being required to testify a certain way. I was also at the time dealing with the loss of my wife. I was not paying any attention to any social media.
Sorry for your loss, but you are aware during the pendency's case that there has been pressure on you to testify in a certain way. Isn't that fair to say?
No,
Good for him.
You received
Shut
a
him
call
down.
from that blogger, didn't you?
I did.
And during that call, did you know the person was recording you?
I did not.
You later learned that the person recorded you.
I did not.
Do you know that your conversations were spread throughout the community online?
I was.
Sir, some of those communications or inquiries were...
I'm going to stop this here. So what, Hank? He's a reporter. He has the right to write an article. He has a right to talk about things that he had in the article. I mean, you've never read a mainstream media article in your life and says, sources say that Jimmy did walk to the corner store. Right? It's the same thing, Hank. It's the same thing. We watch it every night at 5 and 6 o'clock, the 5 and 6 o'clock news and the 11 o'clock news. You know, sources say Jimmy walked to the store. Sources say Jennifer went for a swim. I mean, it's reporting. You have every right to do that. All right, here we go. Back to testimony.
claims that you would be exposed for personal matters if you didn't testify a certain way, weren't they?
No.
You
Lucky's
never
doing really
believed
well.
this person, haven't you?
I've seen him. I haven't met him.
Have you ever spent time with him?
No, I have not.
Still a follower.
No, I understand it wasn't recorded, but he could say things like, oh, and in conversation, I asked Lucky this, or in conversation, Lucky told me that. You can do that. That's reporting. That's getting a story. It's creating a story to put out to the public. I understand it wasn't recorded. but he has every right to say, write a note or recall things from that conversation. You can do that.
Of that blog.
I am.
When you follow the blog, do you read anything or do you watch it?
No, I don't do much anything towards the blogger.
As you follow it, you can see there are oftentimes articles about you.
No,
Haven't you ever been encouraged to do the right thing?
no.
Haven't you ever been celebrated?
And I love how Hank tries to slide that one in. Where did we hear do the right thing before? Where did we hear do the right thing before? I'm going to wait in the chat. Whose testimony do we hear do the right thing? Whose testimony do we hear do the right thing? Exactly. Exactly. Dever, Diva, Veruca Salts. It's all the same thing. Exactly. So we tried slipping that in to act like Aiden was the one calling the shots here, just like we know that the commissioner was calling the shots to Veruca Salts. Brought her into her office and said, oh, wink, wink, do the right thing. That means stand with that thick blue wall. Here we go.
Celebrated after you've testified in a way favorable for one
Yes.
side or the other?
Yes.
And so when you were being celebrated, that certainly took off any pressure that there would be consequence, didn't it?
Ask it differently.
When you were celebrated for testifying a certain way, did you find that to be encouraging?
I'm going to allow it.
I did find it to be encouraging, but I did not want it. I don't think I deserved it. All I was doing was my job and telling the truth.
Did you enjoy?
Someone needs to clip that. This guy has no skin in the game. He's just up here. You know, he's a what does Aiden say? He's just like a Canton townie that just wants to get up and do the right thing for his community, plow the roads, take care of the community in any fashion of the way that his job serves. That's it. That's it right there. He's just like a salt of the earth guy. That's it. Salt to the earth.
The attention that you got.
I did not.
Did you pose in photographs with people who support one side or the other?
I did.
So what?
And when you were in those photographs, are you saying that you didn't enjoy the attention that you were receiving?
I did not. Again, I was trying to be polite and trying to avoid any confrontation that may come from something if I said no.
Well, did anybody from the district attorney's office ever suggest they would confront you or punish you if you didn't testify a certain way?
No.
How many friends contacted you about what was being said before you testified, the pressure? How many people told you about that?
I couldn't tell you. All my friends were telling me.
The
So you
pressure.
were hearing a lot of noise or information from your friend group and community about what was being said about you.
Yes.
And this was before you testified at the first trial, sir.
This was before.
Sir, you work hard, don't you?
I do.
You work many different jobs.
I do.
You try to be a good citizen.
I do.
You are not looking for attention.
I am not.
It was
This is so
brought to you.
cringy.
It was brought to me.
You wish you never had that attention, don't you?
Yes.
Because you just want to live your life the way you want to live it rather than
So
have
cringy.
people you don't know attacking, criticizing, or intimidating you.
Here we go. Back to the three things that I talked about in the very beginning. What did he start with? Attacking, intimidating. Now he's going to bring it back around again. That's the wheel. That's the circle.
I'll allow that.
I'll allow that. Of
Could you repeat that, please?
Would it be fair to say that you simply want to live your life the way you've been living it without outside people attacking or pressuring or threatening you?
Yes.
Again, didn't understand it. Seemed perplexed about that.
On June 15, June 5th, 2023, you were contacted by the defense private investigator, weren't you? And you may not know the dates. Were you contacted twice by the private investigator?
I would need to know what time frame we're looking at.
Fair enough. By the way, the blogger that I speak of, do you know if he is friendly or supports one side over the other?
Oh, God.
I know he is friendly towards one side, yes.
Okay.
So what?
The side sitting in the back of the room?
I would say the defense team.
You've interacted with a private investigator hired by the defense.
Turtle Boy has
Yes.
entered the chat.
Have you also interacted with any of the attorneys?
Yes.
Which attorneys have you interacted with?
See, that's what Hank was trying to do. He knew he couldn't name Aiden, couldn't say Turtle Boy, but he wanted to place Aiden inside that courtroom by saying, "Oh, is he sitting in the back of the courtroom?"
Mr. Yannetti.
Have you contacted or have you spoken to any
Yes,
other attorneys
it
other
was
than
Tim
Mr. Yannetti?
Timely.
Just Mr. Yannetti.
How many times have you spoken to Mr. Yannetti?
Again, what are we talking? First trial, this trial?
The entire time, from that night until today. Can you remember how many times that you've
About
spoken?
5 times.
How many times have you gone in to be interviewed by him?
4 times?
During those interviews, were they spaced out over the course of this case?
Yes.
What was the purpose of those interviews?
To go over my testimony.
When you went over testimony, were you ever shown prior testimony?
Yes.
Were you shown prior reports?
No.
Were you shown a prior investigator's report?
Here's the feds. He's going to bring the feds into it right now, but he's going to say investigators.
Yes.
Were you shown a prior report by a law enforcement agency that is not the state police? Not
There it is.
Not by Mr. Yannetti. I saw that first document for the first time during the first trial.
When you were discussing your testimony, was there a discussion about the fact that the times that you gave the private investigator were different than the report from that law enforcement agency?
That's the
Could
FBI.
you repeat that question, please?
When you were preparing the trial in those meetings, was it brought up, did you discuss that there was a difference in your memory, or at least in the reports, between what you told the defense private investigator and what you told that other law enforcement agency?
No.
Were you aware that there is a difference between the different statements attributed in your memory as to time?
The first trial, yes.
When you were with the defense preparing for trial, did you go over your testimony?
Yes.
Did you go over questions and answers?
Yes.
Were you ever subjected to a make-pretend cross-examination about issues that were important in this case?
No.
Were you ever pointed to any particular issues that were important to talk about in this case?
No.
When you did the questions and answers, were they written down or just a conversation?
Can you repeat that one, please? I'm sorry.
When you went through the questions and answers in preparing, practicing for your testimony, were they written down?
So ask it differently.
When you were preparing for your testimony, were the questions and answers written down, or was it just speaking?
Just speaking.
Those 4 times that you met, is that a guess, or was it 4 times?
It was about 4 times, yes.
Could it have been more?
No.
And during those 4 times, was there anything different other than going through questions and answers about testimony and preparation? Was there any other subjects you talked about?
There were none.
Did you ever receive any compensation, sir?
I received none.
Do you know whether people were sending you compensation that you didn't receive?
Come on, Hank.
No.
You don't know?
I never received anything.
There you go.
Were you given anything to bring home with you so that you could remember past testimony or some of the questions and answers that were going to be asked?
No.
How long were your meetings in preparation for your testimony?
About 45 minutes to an hour.
Were they all about the same time or were they different?
He's trying to, and listen, I think that he's trying to attack Lucky in a way of diminishing his IQ. That's the feeling that I'm getting here. And this guy is solid. And, you know, he knows, listen, the guy's, he's been around guys. He's a truck driver. He's been around a lot of people. He's a guy that probably has heard and seen so many stories and been in so many different situations. You're not going to get one by on this guy. Again, it just goes back to solid, salt of the earth guy. He has no skin in this game. He's just going to come up and tell you the way it is. He's not going to bullshit you, and he's just going to get to the point. That's what's going on here.
When you came into court last year, it's fair to say this is after you became aware of essentially being targeted, correct?
You can answer that.
Now he's going back to targeting.
I can. I don't ever felt like I was being targeted.
This was after you received all the information from your friends and people in the community that you were being attacked.
He's going back to attack.
Again, I don't feel like I was being targeted.
Solid.
Are you concerned after this case what happens with the blogger that you follow?
No.
You talked about your meeting with the private investigator. The first time you met him, do you remember that meeting?
Yes.
Do you remember where you met him?
I met him at my place of employment.
Did you go anywhere with him that day?
No, I did not.
You had a conversation with him and you spoke about what you had remembered from that night?
Yes.
Do you remember when you spoke to that private investigator, you weren't sure how many times you went up and down Fairview that night? That you had said 2 or 3?
No, I told him I went up at 2:30 at 2. I told him at 3:30 I went up 2. Went up and down. And I told him about 3 hours later I went up and down. Excuse me, I went down and wasn't able to go around the police cruisers and had to turn around at Carriage Lane.
You mentioned that you believe you told the private investigator that you went up and down at 2:30. Do you remember when you spoke to the private investigator, you actually said 3 o'clock?
I don't remember 3 o'clock.
May I approach?
Yes.
And before I do you remember you said that when you went on your second pass, it was around 3:15?
I told him I went up Fairview between about 2:40 to 2:45, and I said about 45 minutes later, I went for the second time.
Okay. Now you had said 2:30, and you just now said 2:40 to 2:45, and then you said 45 minutes later.
Yep.
Okay. Do you remember telling the private investigator that when you think, or you said you saw a Ford Edge, you were actually still on Cedar Brook, not on Fairview, passing by it? You saw it from the street at Cedar Brook. Do you remember telling him that?
I don't remember. Secret. I don't remember ever saying that.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
I'll show you a copy. This is a report that you didn't write, so I don't want you to read it. I want to show it to you and see if it helps remind you of what you told the private investigator that day. You can look at any part of this, but what I'm asking you is whether or not you remember telling the private investigator that when you saw the car, you weren't passing on Fairview, you were up on Cedar. question I'm asking. So I'd ask you to look whatever part you want, but I'm going to point out the part to you. When you're done, don't answer, just look up and then I'll get to ask you some questions about your memory, okay? So,
Again, going back to memory. See? Now he's going to go to memory again. So he's been beating him up on attack, intimidation, and now he's going to go to memory. He's going to go to memory on this.
This part, or you know, any part that you want, sir?
Let's speed up a little bit here.
Done, sir?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
See, he didn't get him on attacking, so now he's going to try to get him on memory. You know, you were intimidated, you were attacking, he didn't get what he wanted there because none of it's bullshit. You know, everything is bullshit in that sense. But now he's going to attack. He's going to try to attack memory here.
Sir, do you now remember when you were speaking to the defense investigator about seeing
Yeah,
the car?
well,
You said that about 3:30 to 4 a.m.
Some nervous ticks there. He's pulling the sleeves down, adjust, got a little nervous. He's been up there for a little while, so he's feeling it.
When you were plowing Cedar Crest Road, you looked toward Fairview Road and saw a small SUV.
By the way, I want to
in front of the
comment.
house.
I want to comment on Lucky with the pocket square. I love it. He's got the red pocket square to match the red tie. Beautiful suit, by the way, too, Lucky. So if you're watching, I'm digging the digs. I'm digging the digs. I love it. I love the pocket square. Everybody should have a pocket square.
Remember telling the PI that?
I never remember telling him that.
When you spoke to law enforcement, not the Canton Police or the state police, you understood it was important to be as accurate as possible?
Yes.
And you understood, at least with that law enforcement agency, if you misled them in any way, it could be up to a 10-year penalty?
Now he's going to threaten him here. This is what I was talking about with the FBI. Hank's going to try to threaten him with the FBI. Let's back up a little bit here. Here we
When
go.
You spoke to law enforcement, not the Canton Police or the state police.
FBI.
You understood it was important to be as accurate as possible?
Yes.
And you understood, at least with that law enforcement agency, if you misled them in any way, it could be up to a 10-year penalty?
Yes.
When you spoke to them, did you take that interview very seriously?
Yes.
Try to be as precise and accurate as you could?
Yes.
And when you spoke to them, obviously, like anybody, you had in mind there could be serious consequences if they felt misled.
Yes.
You try to be honest with them,
Yes.
provide them your best memory and good faith.
Yes.
And this was shortly before, well, actually, this was May 24th, 2023, correct?
Correct.
When you met, there was more than one person there from this agency?
I believe so.
Was there potentially two?
There was two.
And when you met with them, they asked you about when you began working that night.
Yes.
You told them 11:30 to midnight.
I never told him that.
And so as you sit here today, your memory is you did not tell those law enforcement agents that you began work at 11:30 to 12?
We had a 2:30 start time.
I understand, but I'm asking you,
I never told him.
Oh.
It was always 2:30 start time.
when you spoke to them, do you remember telling them the first time you were out near the area was midnight?
Nope. No.
When you spoke to those law enforcement personnel, were they taking notes?
I believe so.
Have you ever seen their report?
The first trial I did, yes.
Who showed you that report?
It was shown to me by Prosecutor Lally.
Do you think Prosecutor Lally showed you that report?
Hank just got caught there a little bit, and I love that. Let me get to this. The process is the punishment. $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, but not for Veruca Salt. No penalty for her. Exactly. Exactly. Let me see here. I just got a text. Let's see. My dad says, maybe someone can answer this in the chat. I'm going to read this out. My dad just texted me. Dad, thank you for watching. Love you, by the way. My dad and I have many conversations, long hours of conversation about Karen's case. Let's see. My dad says, if you remember, and maybe everybody can help me answer the question here. Let's try to work through this. Okay. My dad asked, if you remember, didn't they find a piece of diffuser at 34? If they had put power to that light, it would have had shined red. The lights behind you are the same thing as in a taillight. The piece with the dimples is the diffuser. Spreads the illumination throughout the light just double check. I think that channel, what is it? BN Trouble. I think he's done some really good experiments on the taillight and basically debunked the Commonwealth in like 2.5 seconds, Dad. So everybody's saying hi, Papa LTL. Yeah. And yeah, everybody's saying you are right. Yes, he has. Yep. Process of punishment says you raised a great son, LTL Dad. Yeah, what is that YouTube channel name? I want to get it from my dad. Is it BN Trouble or there it is? Dad, check out this channel, BN Trouble 31. I'm sure you've seen it. And you got to check it out. So you can don't leave my show right now and go watch it. You're going to stay for a little bit while longer. But this is the name you're going to look for. BN, like Brian Nicholas, and then Trouble, TROUBLE, and then 31. So that's the channel you're going to want to look for, Dad. There's lots of taillight experiment on there. All right, let's go back to testimony. We're going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. It's getting late. It's about 2 hours. And then I don't think I'm doing a show tomorrow night, and I'm definitely not doing one on Saturday, but Sunday morning, and I will drop the link in the chat before I leave. At 11 a.m., you're all going to want to come over. Ted Daniel, Boston 25 News, will be joining LTL Media here on Sunday. We're going to have a conversation, obviously, about the reporting in Karen Reed's case. I want to hear from the legacy media. I want to hear their side, how they report on this case. So I have some really great questions for Ted Daniel. I'm very excited for it, and we'll make it happen. All right, let me get back up here. We're going to play a little bit more Lucky's testimony, and then we're going to wrap it up here in just a couple of minutes.
It was shown to me.
And do you remember telling those two law enforcement personnel that you believe that there were emergency vehicles, ambulances, or police cars in front of Fairview at 3 to 3:30 a.m.?
I do not.
Are you saying that you did not say these things to them, or are you saying that that's not your memory?
That's not what I said.
And so you're saying that's wrong. You're denying
Correct.
you made those statements.
Correct.
Let's go.
At the time they say that you told them there was emergency.
Let's see. No show tomorrow after court. No, I have to work, and I have to work late, and it'll be 9 o'clock. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. If I'm able to listen to testimony during work, maybe we'll do it. But it's tough sometimes. So if not, we're gonna recap on Monday anyway when I have Nan and Todd. So I don't know. I don't know. I have to see. I don't have I have nothing prepared for tomorrow, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to, because I literally work till 9 o'clock, and it would be a real late show, and I know I'm gonna be tired after work, so probably not. Sunday will probably be my next show. I need a break anyway. I've been streaming a lot this week, so probably not. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I always say that, and then I usually do a show. Let's see. I don't need badge. $10 says, in my opinion, we see truth, lies, and behavior. The Commonwealth's defense combative. Not wrong equals liars. Respect, poise, calm, admits wrong. Memory, sees here equals believe. Hanks, insult. Rude to, let's see. Within equals turn off. The jury can see it too. Yeah, I mean, the jury can see all that stuff. So it's, Dad, if you click on this link right here, that'll get you over to that YouTube channel that I was telling you about. But yeah, I mean, the jury sees all that stuff too. Thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate that. All right, let's play a little bit more here, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I'm getting tired. I'm sure you're all tired. And like I said, we'll be back on Sunday, definitely, with Ted. Maybe tomorrow night. Not too sure yet, but here we go.
Vehicles there at 3 a.m. That is the same time that you told the PI that you saw the Ford Edge, around 3:30 to 4, correct?
About 3:30 is when I saw the Ford Edge.
It was dark out that night, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yep.
There are no street lights down there, that flagpole area of 34 Fairview, is there?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Was it on that night?
I can't tell you honestly if it was.
You testified at trial? I'm sorry, at a proceeding last year?
I testified that there were, it was asked to me that there were not any streetlights, and I entered it in the affirmative way, and living in that neighborhood, I saw that there were actual streetlights.
You testified at a proceeding last year, didn't you?
Yes.
When you testified at the proceeding, did you meet anybody from the defense close in time to that proceeding?
I don't know, when we met, how close to the proceedings it was.
Do you remember being prepared before you went into trial last time?
Yes.
By
Yannetti, excuse me.
He said Lally and Yannetti together. It was kind of funny. Let's see. Old Miserable 21. Wow. Big super chat. $50 says, I've watched you all of trial 1 and now trial 2. I love your work and your kind heart. Yours and Karen's #1 supporter from Mississippi. Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's been a really, my life has really changed a lot over the last year and a half of doing this. And, I'm starting to fully feel this is what I should be doing at this point in my life, and I've gone through so many obstacles and roadblocks and things that I've had to deal with personally and take, have a divided road and figure out, am I going to go to the left or the right? And, maybe some of those choices were bad. Maybe some of those choices were good, but I had to take all those roads to get me here in this very moment. Am I happy? Yes, I'm completely happy. Am I excited about what the future of LTL Media can be? Of course. I want this channel to thrive. I want this to be one of the biggest YouTube channels on YouTube. But it's all what you put into it. It's all the work that you put into it. And you have to treat your subscribers good, and you have to be honest with them, because I all know that you guys will pick up on bullshit in 2 points, in 2 seconds flat, and that's something that I've always done. And you can go back, and I always, once in a while, play my first video that I posted 4 years ago on YouTube. And I'm the exact same person that I have been for the last 4 years. I really do appreciate, just everything. I mean, the community, the people that I've met, the friends that I've made, all of you here that come to these live shows and hang out. The support, the monetary support, I appreciate it. It helps keep the studio open. And I have bigger things planned down the road. I want bigger things, and we're still continuing to build what we have here, and maybe we'll expand the space someday. I don't know. That's all things that are just questions in the future. But I want to concentrate right now is just getting better at this craft here. Getting better as a YouTuber, getting better as a host, getting better as a researcher, getting better as someone that prepares shows. Because if you can't make content and you can't make good, sustainable, honest content, then people aren't going to come watch you. If you're trying to just fly by the seat of your pants and fake it, they're going to catch on, and I try to do the best that I can in any given situation, especially when I have guests on. I prep them and say, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. Here's some show notes. I mean, when I have Nan and Todd on, I prep both of them. Here's the show note sheet. This is what we're going to talk about. And they're professional. They've done this a long time. They probably don't even need notes, but I just try to be a good host and guide. And try to have some laughs and some fun. Yes, we talk about very serious things here. But every once in a while, we got to have a laugh. And that's, I do the Brennan voice and stuff like that, kind of loosen the chat. And, I just I try to see the good in everybody. And I know there's a lot of shitty people out there, but I try to see the good in everybody. I just try to do good things. good things for my community, good things for the state that I live in here with so many bad things that happen here. So I don't know. I've done a lot of growing over the last year. And look, I've been very honest. I've been in therapy for over almost a year now, or probably, yeah, I've been in therapy for a year, and it's given me a completely different perspective on life. I've completely matured more. And I've calmed down a lot. I used to be fucking wild, like just anger, and mad. And I just let things roll off my shoulders now. That's a better way to live than having to worry all the time. And just, having all that stuff on your shoulders. You can't do it. You just got to let it roll off and just worry about what you got to do, and anybody can do anything. Seriously. If you put hard work in, if you have a goal and you put hard work into it, you can do it. Believe me, but you got to work for it. It's not going to be easy. And there's many nights that I've gone home and cried. I'm honest about that. I take this shit serious. I want this to be my career. I'm trying to turn this into my career. We're not there yet, but maybe in a year or two, this will be, a fully functioning independent media channel. And I don't know, maybe there's so many other things that we do, but I have a human interest in people. I have a human interest in situations. I have a human interest in learning new things and engaging with remarkable, smart people that I've had the pleasure and opportunity to have here in the studio and on my panel. And I've learned so much about processes of the law. And I never really intended this to be, I guess, a true crime channel, but that's the direction that we've gone in. And things will probably change and evolve. It does happen. And I just hope that, all of you will continue to join and take this ride along. Because I think it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been fun. I really thoroughly enjoy doing this. I do, and it is a passion. It's not a hobby. It is a passion. I put my heart and soul into all of this. And I've been extremely blessed. But enough about me. Enough about me. But it has to do with all of you, because if you all didn't come here and subscribe and support this channel, it would never be like this. And by the way, I'm not a Cancer. I'm a Pisces. I am Pisces through and through. I fucking cry. I'm emotional. I get angry. My emotions are on high alert. But through the power of therapy, I've learned to suppress a lot of that stuff and just be a better person and open myself up to a lot of people that I never thought that I would do that. And I've worked, hard on my social anxieties and all that stuff. And it's really helped. So it's really helped. But I think that is a good area tonight to end on that note. I think we had another super chat that came in, and I want to get to that because I don't want to be rude and not pull it up. Let's see. We look at this. 10 English pounds says, thanks for a great show, LTL. Well, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate all of you. I may not remember, I see people out in the public and they say, I may not remember you, but I do remember everybody that comes up and says thanks or wants to take a photo or just hangs out here in the chat. I remember the names. I do. I really do. And it's been cool. It's been a cool ride. And there's, other things that I want to fulfill in my life that I'm going to keep working towards those goals. And it can happen. Believe me, anybody can make anything happen. I would not even thought that I would have been sitting here a year ago, a little bit over a year and a half. But, I had someone that found me this spot and it worked out. And that's it. So with that being said, thank you, everybody. I'm going to head out and I will be back on Sunday with Ted Daniel. And what I want everybody to do is I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Please click on that. Click on this link and set your reminders. 11 a.m. on this Sunday with Ted Daniel, Boston 25 News. I'm super stoked about this interview, and I know it's going to be great, and I want you all to be part of that. All right, I'm going to head out, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all the support this evening. You're all fucking awesome. If you're a Turtle Rider and you're not over watching Aiden right now, you need to go over and watch. I think he's on his website tonight. All right, I'll see everybody soon. Thank you again for the love and support, and everybody have a great weekend. Bye-bye.